opening this regularly scheduled meeting of the Florence Town Planning and Zoning Commission. Mr. Olguin, would you do roll call for us, please?
Yes, sir. Chairman Woolley. Vice Chair Patrick.
Here.
Commissioner Petty.
Present.
Commissioner Anderson.
Present.
Commissioner Reed.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Okay, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Sure.
One nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I couldn't hear him.
Before we go on to item 4, just wanted to make you aware that we did post new agendas. You all received one tonight per the open meeting law. We were going to add the September 25th, 2012 minutes to be approved tonight. We chose not to bring them out. It was too late. So with your permission, if we could table those to the 20th, June 20th meeting, we'd be appreciative.
Do we need a motion on that?
The February 7th and February 21st are still
Yes,
okay
those
to
are
go forward, though.
Yes, okay, but do we need a motion to table the September agenda?
No,
meeting minutes?
no, you're not making a decision. You can just
Okay,
table.
then let's table the September 25th meeting notes, minutes, until the next planning and zoning meeting.
Okay.
And do I have any discussion on the two existing, the February 7th meeting minutes? Okay. Do I have a motion to approve those?
Make a motion that we approve the meeting minutes of February 7th, 2013, as well as February 21st, 2013, and table the September 25th, 2012 minutes.
Second. Second. Okay. I have a motion from Commissioner Petty and a second. Reed. From Commissioner Reed. See, we've been away too long. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, the motion is carried.
Doing this first.
Vice Chair, if you don't mind, I can introduce item 5. It's a public hearing. It's 5A, case PZC 3512 PUD. It's a Merrill Ranch PUD amendment. Presentation recommendation for a request by Jared Baxter, PE of the Baxter Design Group, LLC, on behalf of Southwest Value Partners for an amendment to a portion of the Merrill Ranch Plan Unit Development PUD. The amendment proposes to change the land uses on a portion of the PUD that is generally located at the northwest and northeast corners of Hunt Highway and Felix Road in Florence, Arizona. The intent of this PUD amendment is to replace a portion of the concentrated commercial, retail, employment, and mixed land uses planned for the subject area with single-family detached residential uses consistent with the adjacent neighborhoods of the Anthem at Merrill Ranch development. We need actually just a little bit more time to get this case prepared, so our recommendation on this item tonight is going to be that we do a continuance to the June 27th meeting. It will be a special meeting. It will replace the meeting that would normally be scheduled at the first meeting in July. That one we've eliminated because of the July 4th conflict. However, since we did advertise and post this on the agenda that it is a public hearing, in addition to doing the continuance of this item to June 27th, we do need to open the public hearing and continue the public hearing also to that time certain date.
Okay, so I'll open the public hearing, and then we're just going to leave it open and continue it to June 27th. Is that correct?
That would be the plan, and we'll need a motion and a second and a vote from the commission.
Okay, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we continue case PCC 35-12 PUD Merrill Ranch PUD amendment until the June 27th meeting.
I'll second that.
We have a motion from Commissioner Anderson and a second from Commissioner Petty. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay,
Thank
so the
you.
meeting is continued, or the hearing is continued. Okay, let's move on to item 6. That is the case PZC-14-13-PP, Anthem at Merrill Ranch, Unit 37, preliminary plat. This is a presentation for approval or disapproval of a preliminary plan applicable for Anthem at Merrill Ranch, Unit 37, submitted by Southwest Value Partners.
Thank you, Vice Chair and Commissioners. It's a pleasure to be with you here tonight. I want to talk to you and do a little presentation of the Unit 37, which is Anthem at Merrill Ranch, PZC-14-13-PP. Kind of give you a little bit of an overview of what Unit 37 is. It's actually south of Merrill Ranch Parkway, west of Hunt Highway. This is the location where it's at. The current owner at this time is Southwest Value Partners, and at this plat they are planning 130 single-family lots, which is 3.84 dwelling units per acre. The net acres of the plat is 28 acres, and 8 of those acres is for open space Greenbelt network that will continue on the whole Anthem community. As you guys know, there's a vast network of open space and green space and trails. So they're going to continue this on the west side of Hunt Highway, which will be a great amenity for the community members out in Anthem. There's going to be 3 access points in and out of the unit. This is the aerial view of the unit. You can see it right. This is where the Unit 37 will be located right now. So right here is Hunt Highway, Merrill Ranch Parkway. Right now the main access point is going to be coming off of Merrill Ranch Parkway. As Merrill Ranch is extended to accommodate these new units, there will be a secondary access point more for emergency access on the south corner down here, south portion. This access road right now is a current construction road, and it connects with Hunt Highway. So this will allow the emergency vehicles to access this unit if there's something wrong on the northern portion. But also, as these units come forward, there are surrounding units that are going to be coming forward. So they're going to allow 3 different access points. Southwest Value Partners, they're a land developer. The nice thing about this is there's going to be new product, new developer, new builders coming into the area. Staff feels that this will be a great opportunity for Florence and the Anthem area to attract new home builders and attract more residents and get more rooftops to progress growth in the area and some of the other amenities that are planned in the area. Do you guys have any questions for me? The applicant is actually present, Jared. If you have any questions, please.
Yes, I do. I have as I recall, this is the land that Southwest Value Partners purchased from Pulte a couple of years ago. And I seem to remember that a condition of that was that it would be developed, I don't want to say identical, but like the rest of the Anthem community, such that on the south side it would be part of the Parkside development, on the north side would be part of the Sun City development. Is that not correct?
Vice Chair, members of the Commission, the Sun City component was never carried west of Hunt Highway. So actually, from the conception of the zoning document, so on the west side of Hunt Highway, both north and south of Merrill Ranch Parkway, it will all be a continuation of Parkside. It will have the same continuity of the lot design, the product, the open space, the walls, the signage, and so forth. But there could conceivably be different builders in there, but it will be a similar Parkside product.
Okay.
I guess I have a density question. I live in Parkside, and I have a double lot, and I'm perfectly happy. But as I look, you know, at all the homes, they're jammed in there pretty well. And, you know, like in a PUD, by its very nature, you can get away with a lot of things that you can't get away with if you don't have a PUD. And they're pretty tight. Now, if the density of, well, actually, there's 3 cases here that exceed the 3.5. Do they not?
Member Reed, members of the commission, these 3 plats that you see tonight, they do have the smaller lots, so they're probably going to accommodate a 35 wide product, which is the, you know, essentially the entry level product for Parkside, and in some cases it's a move up product still at 35 foot wide. There are a couple of other plats on the north side of Merrill Ranch Parkway that you're not seeing yet tonight that actually will have larger lots. But in general, because they're dealing with a very narrow area here, and just the overall design of the subdivision and the PUD, it was best suited for the smaller product on this side of the road. But I do assure you, we've had this discussion with them, and you'll see a couple more plats that come forward that will have larger lots and wider lots on the north side of Merrill Ranch Parkway here. And then, of course, some of the newer phases in Anthem, especially as they move to the east of Felix Road, that is where more of the second home buyer move-up product is located, in part because the topography changes a little bit and it's warranted there. So you will see that density occur, and they are going to come, at the end of the day, the single-family density for Anthem is going to be under 4.0 overall. In fact, at this rate right now, although the zoning allows some 11,000 something units, we're probably, if we keep going at the densities that we're at, we're probably at about 8,500, 8,600 units. So we're actually going at a slightly lower density than the zoning allowed overall thus far.
Well, I don't understand how we can violate the PUD.
How what?
How we can violate the PUD. The PUD
We're not violating the PUD.
We're changing it.
it says maximum overall density in the PUD is 3.5 dwellings per gross acre.
You may have some subdivisions that have slightly higher than that. And then you may have some subdivisions that will be substantially lower than that. Their overall single-family residential density, though, will be at a certain rate. So as long as they are not moving into an attached home product or a duplex product or something like that, where the density start changes and the zoning changes, they'll be perfectly fine. In fact, they have some 30 wide product already in some parts of Anthem, some smaller lots. So what we look at is the overall density. It's single family attached. In some areas you're going to have smaller lots and more homes than you have in others. The overall is going to end up being probably 3.2, 3.3 at the end of the day. And it will not violate the zoning.
You mean even with the addition of these 3 cases, like one of them's 4.8, you know?
Well, the other consideration, members of the commission, is just that the bulk of the open space for Anthem is on the other side of Hunt Highway. There's still a lot of open space on this side. There's some open space corridors and some parks and tot lots, but the bulk of the open space is on the other side of the road. So that's kind of skewing your calculations, because open space accounts in your density calculation. So you take out the arterials and you take out the commercial and the office, and then you look at how many lots you're fitting into an area, where you're going to fit more lots into this area because you don't have the community center, you don't have the swimming pools, and you don't have the community park, and you don't have the school and things like that. So your single-family residential net densities are going to be a little bit higher on this side of the road because of that.
But the other issue I have with it is the street issue. It gets back to the parking, because if I understand now with the new state law, the HOAs are not going to be allowed to enforce parking. And here we have smaller density. We'll have 28-foot wide streets, which means people are going to be parking on those streets, on both sides of the street, and which means you're going to have one-way traffic. And again, the PUD says very explicit that this is supposed to have two-lane traffic, and we aren't going to have that.
And I believe that the HOA law that was passed, it actually did allow communities that already have that restriction in their HOAs to go ahead and enforce that restriction, and then new ones would not be able to. So I would suggest that maybe the HOA out there actually refer to the exact language that was put in there, because I know that came up, and a lot of folks that already had that restriction in their communities did not want it changed. So they made it applicable to new subdivisions.
Well,
I do not think that they have to, I still think that the HOA has the ability to enforce that out there, but they may want to check that. But the town engineer, we've had this discussion before, and the town engineer and police and fire have all stated that the roadways were adequate, and if they get into a situation where they feel that there is a traffic congestion, that they would deal with it on a case-by-case basis. And that has not come
well,
up.
they're not doing a very good job of it.
Well, I think we've had that discussion several times over the past 6 or 7 months, so, yeah, I think as long as we can rely on town council and the police and fire department to keep track of that, make sure that we don't get ourselves in any trouble here where we can't get a fire truck to a house or something.
Well, the police don't enforce the existing laws out there. You know, we were coming out tonight, parked right in the intersection were 2 vehicles. One was parked within 3 foot of a stop sign. It was that close to the intersection. So you had to drive out around that. If cars were coming in, they couldn't come into the intersection with somebody coming out. And these are people parking overnight. The police drive through there. I've stopped the policeman and asked him to go ticket the cars that were parked in the wrong direction. It's okay, I'll do that. He drives on out.
Well, I think that it sounds like a discussion that's probably out of the purview of the preliminary plat and something to
Yes.
follow up outside of.
Again, you know, I think the PUD says, you know, I thought the PUD gave us homeowners some protection when it said that we were going to have 2-lane traffic. Now, the town isn't willing to even think about that. Keep saying, oh, it's not our problem, it's HOA's problem. That's the PUD only for the benefit of who?
Member Anderson, I think we're far off track here, and I think it's important to stay
Okay.
on the issue of the preliminary plats. The preliminary plat is meeting all of the codes, and they are meeting the density, and they are meeting the design standards, and the town engineer has recommended approval of these as staff has. If there are issues regarding police and fire department issues that you still have concerns with, I would suggest that you follow up with those departments and/or the town manager. I'd be happy to have that discussion with you, but I think we should stay focused on the actual plat here, and I can assure you with 100% confidence that it's following all the applicable rules. And in fact, Jared Baxter is the engineer, and he's designed every plat out there and knows the rules inside and out, along with the applicable engineering standards.
Okay.
So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
And then finally, on the staff recommendations, there are 6 items here, conditional approval, conditions that are required for approval. Have you guys read those, and do you understand?
Vice Chair and Commissioners, yes, I have read the stipulations that were part of the staff approval, and we are in agreement that they
You
be
agree?
part of the record itself on that plat.
Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you. Okay, should we go ahead and do all these cases at once, or you want to do them one at a time?
Well, I think since we went ahead and we we discuss this one and introduce it separately. I would go ahead and do a motion on this one, and then perhaps on the next two, Heath can provide a combined overview on the next two, and then you can
Okay,
do two motions on those.
all right, I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion that case PZC-14-13 preliminary plat be approved as presented with the 6 stipulations that the staff recommended.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion from Commissioner Petty with a second from Commissioner Reed. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Aye.
No, we're split. So we have 2 opposed and 2 approved?
Can we get a roll call vote then, if that's the case?
Yes.
Chairman? Hold on. Okay, here we go. Chairman Anderson, yea or nay? Yea or nay, yes or no? We're doing a roll call.
No.
No.
I'm voting no.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
Patrick is yes. Commissioner Reed?
No.
No. Okay, we do not have,
I think before we move on, I just need to note that a preliminary plat and even a final plat that goes to council is almost an administrative function. If you design the plat according to the applicable standards and you bring it forward, I mean, it's not really a subjective process. It's not a design review where you're looking at maybe the roof pitch should be this way or the window should be this way, or there's really not a lot of subjectivity to a preliminary plat. They are a setback like this. Here we are talking about we're trying to promote growth. We've just invested a lot of money in doing in having folks go to a big economic development conference, putting together a brochure, developing a website. We are trying to increase our rooftop development and get the town on track here, and the rooftops will spin off the other things. We have the opportunity to work with Southwest Value Partners to get these lots ready, to get them into production, to get builders here. Builders are looking at our market, and we need to start getting lots ready for the inventory. I just have to strongly urge you. I don't know, maybe if it's incorrect. Maybe Gilbert can correct me since Jim Monato's not here, and Gilbert knows the process a lot better. But I think that it would be extremely wrong to leave here tonight with unfavorable recommendations on the 3 preliminary plats when the plats are meeting. They are meeting zoning, and they are meeting all applicable town codes. That, I think, it certainly sends us a very strong but poor message to Anthem and to Southwest Value Partners and to potential folks that want to do development in our community. While I respect where you're coming from, I think that we are touching on issues that really are not applicable to the preliminary plat.
Well, I think we have a different interpretation of the PUD when it comes to density. You're saying all the common areas, everything?
Well, let me note that it's not up for us to. It's not really up to the commission to be interpreting the PUD. The staff provides that role for you to make sure that something that's presented to you is in full compliance with the PUD and the applicable codes. So if
I mean, we can't question the staff?
well,
you have every right to ask us questions.
you can question.
You can disagree with us, absolutely.
but we're telling you that it complies, and that's our role. I mean, and I cannot sit here and lie to you and say that it complies when it isn't. So I just
And
I
that's-
think if anything, if this is the way we're gonna go on these items, then, would probably would be a better bet, if anything, to continue them to the 20th, and we'll have legal at that meeting if
Well,
that's the assistance that we need.
Not to interrupt Mark, but what's happened at this point, has happened before, is that because there's 4 commissioners, not 5 tonight, we don't have an action. This will have to come back in front of you, at least this case tonight. Vice Chair, you have the ability to ask for another motion in a second. I'm not saying that the one that I'm not saying that the one that we have now is wrong. I'm just saying that you have that ability.
no,
But tonight, there's no action, so this will have to come
My only
back.
comment is that we have a valid recommendation from staff. It meets the requirement, the PUD meets the requirements of the town, that we are not I want to say a legislative commission. We're here to just to make sure that what is approved is according to the laws of the town, and that's effectively what we're doing here. We may not agree with the fact that there may be some lots that are a little bit smaller. We may not agree with the fact that we'd like to have bigger streets. We may not agree with a lot of things, but it seems to me that the problem that has arisen in the existing neighborhoods has more to do with enforcement than it does anything else. And so it's really up to us to make sure that the laws are enforced. I mean, not as commissioners, but as members of that community. And we need to press our HOA to get after the town. We need to
Not to interrupt you, I apologize, but we need to stick to the agenda. I can appreciate where you're coming from.
I'm trying to get a yes vote.
Well,
My
once
objection
again, we
is
can't
not on
force,
parking. My objection is on density. That's the reason I'm voting no. I think this exceeds the PUD density.
All I see is, you've got smaller houses, and we can't, there'll be cars parked on both sides of the streets. They'll be jammed together, 40% more density. I understand what you said, but I can't, as I look out just at my front window, I can't see how you can get any houses even tighter than they are right now. I mean, there's no room for anything.
This is generally the same product that they have built in a lot of the other portions of Parkside, 35-foot wide product with the same setbacks. A lot of these lots, although we say it's a
The 45-foot frontage was mentioned, right, too, right?
that's a very common lot in Parkside today. Anyhow, we're probably.
yeah, we need to stick to the agenda,
Okay, let's,
commissioners. So it's up to you, Vice Chair, if you wish to,
I mean, my recommendation coming from staff and you, commission has obviously free will to do what you want, but I believe we're just sending a terrible message tonight by potentially, either not coming up with a no vote or denying these. I think that they should be continued. If you have issues about them, present them to us so that we can
Well-
be prepared to address them. I don't know.
once again, we have no vote tonight. There's not a yes or a no. So this is going to be like coming back to you on the 20th. We have no action tonight, so
that's right.
if we wish to move on to the next cases, we can do that.
Well, I think if we called for another vote, it probably wouldn't change. So what I'm going to recommend is that we move to continue this to the June 20th meeting.
Well, once again, this case, we
I
need to move
think,
to
I think
this case.
because
will move
Gilbert's
to-
saying because of the way that the vote went, it'll be back on the agenda. I mean.
The other two cases have not been decided on yet. So if
Yeah,
you wish
so
to continue those.
let's, if we can move on to
Okay, let's do that.
items.
If you get a legal, if you can get some type of, from the city attorney, that would help my.
And we can, but there are no legal issues. I mean, it's
Yeah.
as simple as that. So it's, we can ask for legal, and hopefully we have a full commission potentially on the 20th. But item B and C, I'm just going to go ahead and we'll get through these items. Case PZZ 2113, preliminary plat, Anthem at Merrill Ranch, Unit 47, preliminary plat. Presentation approval, disapproval of preliminary plat application for Anthem at Merrill Ranch, Unit 47, submitted by Southwest Value Partners. Item C, case PZZ 2313, preliminary plat, Anthem at Merrill Ranch, Unit 51, preliminary plat. Presentation approval, disapproval of preliminary plat application for Anthem at Merrill Ranch, Unit 51, submitted by Southwest Value Partners. Would you like to see a presentation on those two items, or would you like to just go ahead and move forward to your vote on those two?
I'd like to
We'll
see
need a
the
separate vote on each.
I'd like to see the presentation.
Okay, then Heath will go ahead and present those together, and then there will have to be a separate vote on each.
Okay. Thank you, Vice Chair and Commissioners. Unit 47, that's PZC-21-13-PP. And also Unit 51, which is PZC-23-13-PP. A lot of these lots are very similar. They have different numbers, but they're very similar in development and following the code. 47, currently the owner is Pulte, and they're working with Southwest Value Partners and working on a deal to acquire the land, but the applicant is Southwest Value Partners, just to clarify the 47 and 51, excuse me. So 47 has 130 single-family lots, 3.6 dwelling units per acre. It's located actually north of Merrill Ranch Parkway, as you can see here. This is the aerial view of it. It's up here in the northwest corner of these areas, or northeast, sorry. The hospital is right up in this area. The new American Leadership Academy is right adjacent to it. Down here you got Merrill Ranch Parkway. Just going to give you an understanding of where this is. It's 30 net acres, and 13 acres of that is open space. There will be 3 points of access, and they'll be going through off of Hunt Highway and adjacent units as they come forward at future P&Z meetings. One of the things that we put in steps was conditions to allow for a connection to the northeast portion of the plat to allow for pedestrian access to Hunt Highway and the different amenities that are up in this corner. So we were looking at that. That was one of the things that we put on there. Also, 47 follows the Anthem PUD and its design standards within Parkside. Give you a little bit of a view of 51. This is a smaller unit, has 78 lots, single-family residential lots. It's 4.8 dwelling units per acre, and it's located north of Merrill Ranch Parkway and also off of Franklin Road, the future Franklin Road, just west of the future church site and American Leadership Academy. 13 net acres, and 3 acres of that is open space. There will be 2 points of access due to the lower lots in this area. They'll be going off of, future collector and adjacent lot to the south, right over here. Again, these units are going to be surrounding, as the meetings go forward, you'll see some of the additional lots and units that are going to be coming forward. You'll see how the connectivity of this area works within the different units as we go forward in this month. Again, it's going to allow different home builders. It's allowing for, the network, the green space to continue on throughout the whole Anthem community. That's some of the basics of Unit 47 and 51. Any questions or move forward?
Vice Chair, members of the Commission, I would note it's a perfect example of this plat here where the engineer has formed the boundary literally at the edge of the subdivision. So you're inherently not including most of the open space that's on the west side of Hunt Highway. So you would get a dramatically different result in your density calculation if you were just to say, if you look at these subdivisions here, while you may have a 4.8 dwelling unit density here, if you were to come in and we did a preliminary plat for 1, 2, 3, 4, those five units, it would not be 4.8 because you would be including all the open space. So how you put that edge around, it's I think it's maybe, you know, maybe how it was packaged and maybe how it was presented, it's misleading, because that's really not, this is not a high-density subdivision by any means. This is a standard Parkside subdivision, but that density number is getting substantially skewed because there's far more than 3 acres of open space on the west side of Hunt Highway. But let's if we could just, well, if there's more questions, just let us know, or maybe Jared can elaborate on that. But I'm
Any
just,
more questions? Motion?
Yeah, I'll take a motion.
Move to forward
Separately?
to the mayor and town council a favorable recommendation for case, let's see where it's at here.
the preliminary plat.
PZC-23-13 PP.
Okay, so we're doing C
Subject to any
first?
stated conditions, I guess.
We're gonna do them separately, correct? So we're doing C first?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we do C first, and it's also subject to the provisions.
And it's just a recommendation it's approval or disapproval. It doesn't get forwarded to the town council because it is just a preliminary plat, so.
Yep.
Did we have a second?
I'll second.
Let's do a roll call, because of the issues we had
Okay.
earlier. Chairman Anderson? Yes, no?
We're voting on Unit 47 now?
No, we're doing units 51.
51, I vote no on. That's
No.
density of 4.95.
Chairman?
I'm in favor of it.
Yes. Okay.
I vote in favor.
No.
Commissioner Reed? No? Okay.
Okay.
Okay, let's move on to case B, PZC 2113 PP. Can we get a vote, a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve preliminary plat
Well,
PZC.
let's just go ahead and, we'll just do the roll call,
Okay.
because of the issue before. So, Chairman, Commissioner Anderson?
No.
No. Commissioner?
I'm in favor.
Yes.
Yes.
Commissioner Patrick?
Yes.
Commissioner Reed?
No.
No. Okay. So no action is going to be taken on these, and we will bring them back to the June 20th meeting.
Can
we get legal representation at that meeting?
I would suggest if the commission have questions in advance of the meeting, if you would share them with us, it would allow us to be better prepared for potentially something coming up. But we can request that legal be present at the next meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, let's move on to item D.
Item D is case PZC 2513DR. It's the Florence Fire Station Number 2. Presentation, approval, disapproval of a design review application for the Florence Fire Station Number 2, submitted by Baxter Design Group LLC. Gilbert's going to give a presentation, but in 2003, 2004, we started identifying that the site for a fire station down here as Anthem and Merrill Ranch were contemplated. And I believe it was 2007, the land was donated to the town by Pulte Homes. And last year, we began doing some site grading on there. And this year, we are bringing this design review application forward to you. And we hope to be moving some dirt on that property potentially as early as July. Maybe we start construction in August sometime. But we are excited to get the fire station moving, and then that actually will then finally remove the temporary fire station out of Unit 17, and they will move into this new facility. Once they do start construction, it is about a 7 to 8 month construction period. And Gilbert will give you some more details on the actual site and the project.
Thank you, Mark. As Mark mentioned, we do have a temporary fire station in Anthem right now that provides service to the residents. And it's currently located off of Constitution Way in a portion of Parkside. But this site here, for those of you who've been with us for a while, it's a 9-acre site. Now, we're only going to be using 2.5 acres of this to build the fire station. But this was property that was years ago donated by Anthem to the town, and we've been lucky enough to finally come up with the funding to possibly build this 10,000 square foot site. Now, I'm sure you're all familiar with it, but just in case you're not, it's south of the project. Anthem, here's Hunt Highway, here's My Ranch Parkway here, and the fire station itself is going to be located south down here. Real excited about this because it's been coming. But this 10,000 square foot site, it'll be a primary station for us, station number 2. We will also have a police substation and a community center that's going to be located within the site. Now, this new building for us is going to have 3 apparatus bays, 8 dorms for the firefighters, a kitchen, a dining hall, a day room, which I'm not sure what that is, but a day room, unisex restrooms, support areas, an exercise room, captain and crew offices, a police report taking area, and a community multi-purpose room and a public entry lobby. Here's the site plan in more detail. You have this in your packet, but it shows the main entrance point, or the only entrance point to this site is going to be off of Hunt Highway on the south on this property. So as this will be the main entrance point as they come in, and the vehicle, the fire trucks themselves will come around this way and park within the base here, and they'll exit this way. This side over here is parking that's provided for the community and for the police department substation that's going to be located here. There's 2 spots reserved for the police, and the rest of it's for the community center. Over here, these are parking spots that are going to be reserved for the firefighters and any employees of the site. Now, the fire station design, it's a traditional prairie-style architecture, and they went with this because it helps mimic what's already in Anthem. And we wanted something that was going to fit into the area, blend in real well, and not stick out. The elevations show ultimately what it's going to look like with the metal roofs and with the stucco on the side, and some of the these bay windows here have glass. This is a modern station, very, very cool as far as what we're able to provide for the firefighters. It's as new as they come. State of the art. Now, the building is situated on the site in an orientation that best utilizes the site area, allows for good circulation, and it's respectful to the other properties that are located near this area. The fire station is to be built using conventional wood frame structure. It'll have CMU walls that wrap around the back, apparatus bays, support areas. There will be a total of 26 parking spots. 12 of those are going to be for the fire department staff, as I mentioned before. 2 of them are for the police department, and 9 are for the general public. And of those 9, 2 of those are handicapped spaces. They all meet the parking requirements and code. My favorite, landscaping. The landscaping that is going to be in place, it's all desert landscaping. What you see out there in Anthem now is pretty much what they propose and what they're going to put out there. And once again, the intent here was to come up with landscaping that would just add to what's already out there, so there shouldn't be no change in view. It should all look the same, all manicured. These are all desert trees, I believe some mesquites and some palabrea, I believe.
Oliver, yeah.
And we have different types of shrubs and cactus accents that are around the area, and we also have, I believe it's some fractured, some decomposed granite around the entire site, but we have some fractured granite down in these areas here. So it should fit right in, it should blend in real well. Staff has recommended approval of this application for this fire station, number 2. The applicant is here tonight if you have any questions. I can tell you that Firefighters were really excited about this site and about this fire station. They had a lot of input. It was a group effort as far as getting this final design to you. So, any questions for staff or for the applicant?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
What about the traffic lights? Will there be a traffic light?
Yes,
out on the highway?
there is there's a traffic light that is scheduled to be placed, I believe, here at the median. And it's going to have some device that will be triggered as the truck comes out. I heard your technical term, but I'll throw it out. So when the truck comes out, it'll trigger the light to turn red, or for the other vehicles to stop and allow them to come out.
Yeah.
We did propose some, I believe, crosswalks in this area here, and I believe up here. So we're real excited about this site. Any other questions?
What do you envision going into the community center?
It's going to be a public space, an open space, or a public space for youth groups, for community groups, Boy Scouts, as one example. But having it there, it'll be an amenity to Anthem and to the people that live there. Plus, the fire station, at least the ones nowadays, they're on display. So having the community center, they can have training, not just for people living there, but also for staff, for even people here that work here for the town. It just gives us more opportunity by having that community center. So, like I said, I envision it to be for youth groups and different groups like that.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Again, there are some provisions on page 3. We understand all those provisions.
Jay?
I'm sorry, I've read quite a few things. Yeah, I'm just making sure I got that. Yeah, we've read those, and
You
we'll
agree?
work through that with
Okay,
the fire
thank you.
department on those issues.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so no more questions. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the design review application for BCC 25-13-DR, subject to the conditions that are shown by staff.
Second.
I have a motion from Commissioner Anderson and a second from Commissioner Reed. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Motion is carried. So we have, approval, recommend approval for the fire station. It's a good idea.
Thank you.
Moving on to item 7, call to the public for commissioner response. Do we have any public that wishes to address the commission? With that, I'll close the call to the public and have a call to the commissioners. Commissioner Reed?
Yeah, I just have one thing. If I look on page 10 of the PUD, it doesn't say an overall 3.5 density, it just says 3.5. That's all I can tell you. That's the way I read it, and that's the way I interpret it, and that's where I'm coming from on those 3 cases, so.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Petty?
Nothing.
Commissioner Anderson? Did you say nothing?
Nothing to see.
I just wanted to reiterate to everybody that I received an email from Paul McCullough's wife. Paul McCullough passed away May 26th, some kind of a respiratory illness. So we just wanted to thank him for his work on the commission and just remember his name for a few minutes. And other than that, I'll take a motion for adjournment.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn tonight's meeting at 6:52.
Second.
Have a motion to adjourn from Commissioner Petty with a second from Commissioner Anderson. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?